Hey everyone, welcome to TamiFlix English Voiceover. Today we are going to look at the classic film Alaipayuthey. Alaipayuthey is a captivating movie that delves into the emotions of love and the journey of relationships. The film beautifully portrays the life of a young couple navigating the challenges of love while confronting their dreams and the realities of life. Join us to explore this story together. At the start of the movie, you see this movie hero Karthik who went to the railway station to pick up his wife. While going to the railway station, the police stopped him. The police blocked the way because of an accident and advised Karthik to choose another route. Karthik goes to the railway station and waits for his wife. Karthik waits until night. Karthik's wife works as a doctor. Karthik calls the hospital and asks when she left the hospital. They inform him that she already left the hospital. Karthik asks, did she say anything about where she was going? They say no to him. Karthik continuously starts to search each train. The flashback starts here. Let's see how Karthik and his wife met and how they started their married life. 2 years earlier, you see Sakthi, who is the heroine of this movie, celebrating her friend's marriage. Karthik also comes to that marriage and sees Sakthi. Karthik starts a conversation with Sakthi. After the marriage ends, they all left the place. The next day, Sakthi is getting ready to go to her college. Sakthi has one elder sister, Purani. Purani works in a bank. In the meantime, at Karthik's house, Karthik's father scolds him for not joining a job. He has graduated in computer science. His father works as a lawyer. Karthik has a plan to start his own business, so he doesn't join any job. While riding on the train, Karthik sees Sakthi in the opposite train. Karthik looks at her and smiles. In the next scene, Karthik tells that he saw Sakthi on the train. Karthik's friends tease him because he doesn't even know her name, but Karthik knows that she is a medical student. In the next scene, Purani asks, "Is this love?" Sakthi refuses and says that it is foolishness. Then Purani asks, "Why did you talk about him yesterday?" Sakthi replies that it was normal thinking. The next day, Sakthi sees that Karthik is searching for her. Sakthi tries to disappear from him. In the next scene, Karthik's friends tease him about his love. That night, Purani also teases Sakthi that she started to love him, but Sakthi refuses it. Next day, Sakthi tries to search for Karthik at the station. Karthik sees Sakthi from afar and smiles, and then Karthik roams around Sakthi's home to see her. Then Karthik sees Sakthi on the train. Karthik goes there and sees Sakthi's name in her notebook. He says that he is not in love with her, he doesn't like her, and he never thought that she was beautiful. But he is afraid if all this may come true. Karthik asks her to think and tell him the answer. Then Karthik leaves. The next day, Karthik goes to her college to meet her. Sakthi comes and asks his name. She advises him not to waste time following her. Karthik smiles and leaves the place. Karthik starts to enjoy that she sees him and smiles at him. In the next scene, Karthik calls Sakthi through the telephone and asks her to come to his home tomorrow for a function. Sakthi asks him why she would want to come. Karthik says that he is not asking her to come to the beach, cinema or somewhere. He just asks her to come home. Karthik tells her to come in a saree and disconnects the call. The next day, Sakthi and Purani go to Karthik's home. Karthik introduces Sakthi to his mother, saying that he is going to marry her. This news spreads all over the house. While going home, Sakthi asks, "How can you say this?" Karthik replies that he didn't say that Sakthi is eager to marry Karthik. He says that Karthik is eager to marry Sakthi. There is nothing wrong with it. Karthik says that he loves her. Sakthi asks, "What do you mean?" Karthik replies that he can do anything for her. Sakthi asks him to jump from the train. Karthik says no and asks her to tell him the answer. Sakthi leaves without giving an answer. In the next scene, Purani tells her family that Karthik's family will come to her home to fix the marriage. Sakti's mother scolds her because Purani is not married yet. The next day, Karthik's father and mother go to Sakti's home to fix the marriage. Sakti's father doesn't like them because they are rich, and Sakti's family is a middle class family, so they don't accept their proposal. In the next scene, Karthik goes to the railway station and asks what happened. Sakthi tells him to forget her because their parents don't accept this marriage proposal. Karthik tells her that they are not going to marry. It is happening between Karthik and Sakthi. Karthik says that if their parents don't accept this, they should leave them. But Sakthi doesn't accept this. Sakthi says that she couldn't leave her parents, but Karthik says that he can leave anything for her. Sakthi asks Karthik what if she had said no to him in the earlier stages. Karthik replies that he would have thought she is not lucky. Sakthi tells him to think like that. Karthik asked her to answer this proposal after 1 week. Sakthi refuses and tries to leave the place. The flashback ends here. Let's come to the present scene that we saw at the beginning of this voiceover. Karthik is still searching for Sakthi. He called all her relatives and friends, but Karthik still couldn't find Sakthi. Again, let's dive into Karthik and Sakti's love flashback. Sakthi asks Karthik to leave her. Then Karthik accepts her decision and they shake hands. Sakthi adds that she prays to God that Karthik will get an ugly and foolish wife. Karthik smiles and she leaves the place. Karthik thinks about her every day. Meanwhile, Sakthi also thinks about him. In the next scene, Karthik starts his business, but he still thinks about her. In the next scene, Karthik goes to her college to meet Sakthi, but Sakti's friend tells him that she went to a medical camp. She will return after 3 weeks. Karthik is shocked upon hearing this. Karthik decides to meet her, so he starts his journey to the medical camp where Sakthi is located. Sakthi also thinks about him and feels very worried. Karthik arrives at the place, but Sakthi has already gone somewhere. Karthik tries to catch her. In the next scene, Sakthi sees Karthik. She has tears in her eyes. Karthik moves closer to Sakthi. Sakthi feels it's like a dream. She holds Karthik's hand and starts to cry. She asks, "Why did you take so many days to find me?" Karthik replied that he cannot live without her. Karthik says that he loves her. Sakthi asks him to marry her. She tells him that they can hide this marriage until their parents accept it. Karthik agrees. The next day, Karthik and Sakthi get married in a temple without their parents knowing. After the marriage, Sakthi goes to her home and Karthik goes to his home. From the next day onward, Karthik and Sakthi talk through the telephone and roam around together. In the next scene, a family comes to see Purani as a potential bride. The groom has one younger brother, so they plan to arrange a marriage for Sakthi as well. But Sakthi is already married. Sakthi has no choice, so she tells the truth that she is already married. Sakti's parents are shocked and take Sakthi to the railway station to meet Karthik. At the railway station, Sakti's father beats Karthik and scolds him. The flashback ends here. Let's return to the present scene. Karthik is still searching for Sakthi. He goes to Sakti's home and starts to search for her. But Sakti's mother asks, "Why did you come here?" He tells her that Sakthi has been missing from last evening. Then Karthik goes to the police station and files a complaint. Again, Karthik starts to searching her. Let's dive into the flashback again. After Sakti's parents learn this truth, Sakthi and Karthik plan to live alone. Sakti's father throws her belongings out of the house and says that he no longer has any relationship with her. Karthik arrives and takes her to her rental house. Sakthi says that from today onward, there will be no more relationship with their family. Karthik says that he will adjust. Then Karthik and Sakthi start their life. In the initial few days, they live happily. The next morning, Karthik asks for the newspaper, but Sakthi wants to see her first. Sakthi asks, "Which one do you prefer, your wife or the newspaper?" Karthik replies that the wife is very important, but he also wants the newspaper. Sakthi burns the newspaper and gives it to him. In the next scene, in Karthik's office, he is waiting for a client's call to start their first project, but it doesn't work out. That evening, Karthik waits for Sakthi in front of their house. Sakthi comes very late and apologizes to him, tells him that she waited for 3 hours on the beach before the marriage. Karthik says that it is different and this is different. Sakthi gets angry and starts to argue with him. The next day, while going to the hospital, Purani and her mother come to meet Sakthi on the train. They tells her that Sakti's father is in critical health condition, so they advised her to see him. That evening, Sakthi conveyed this matter to Karthik and she asked for Karthik's permission to visit her dad. But Karthik says that they don't have any relationship with anyone. Sakthi insists that her father is not well. As a doctor, if she doesn't go there now, there will be no use in studying MBBS. Karthik tells her to go, but he doesn't want to meet him. Sakthi pleads with him to come to visit her dad. but Karthik doesn't want to come because her father slapped him. So Sakthi also decides not to visit her father. That night, Karthik agrees to visit her father. The next morning, Karthik and Sakthi go to see him, but Sakti's father has already died. Sakthi cries a lot and apologizes to her mother. Her mother gets angry, asks her to leave the house. Karthik feels very worried because he refused to see Sakti's father yesterday, which is why Sakthi didn't go there. Karthik feels that it was his mistake. The next day, Karthik tries to convince Sakthi. Sakthi says that she is angry with herself for being selfish. Karthik tries to convince her, but she doesn't want to hear anything. Karthik gets angry and says not to talk to him for the rest of his life. Later, he apologizes to Sakthi for what he said. Sakthi replies that he can live without her father, so she can live without Karthik as well. Then she leaves the house. From the next day onward, Karthik and Sakthi doesn't speak to each other. Karthik plans to arrange a marriage proposal for Purani, so he creates a plan to set up a meeting between Purani and the groom who came with the marriage proposal earlier. Initially, it doesn't go well, but later they roam around somewhere and the groom agrees to marry Purani. At the same time, Sakthi came from the railway station on the other side. She mistakenly thought that Karthik was roaming around with another girl because she didn't see the girl's face. That was her sister. In the next evening, Karthik came and said that his friends would get married next week. So they wanted Karthik and Sakthi to attend the party. Karthik and Sakthi went to the party and they enjoyed themselves very much. But Sakthi still thought about Karthik's affair with another girl. That night, Sakthi asked Karthik about this matter. He didn't know what Sakthi was speaking about. Then they started to argue with each other. Karthik said that he should not have married and they should have remained friends. Sakthi started to cry upon hearing these words. Karthik got angry and told her to leave the place if she didn't want to live with him. Sakthi felt very worried. The next day, Purani came and said that the groom had accepted to marry her, so she was going to marry soon. Purani added that it was happening because of Karthik and started to explain the story of Karthik's plan. Now Sakthi realized that it was her sister and Karthik didn't have any affair with anyone. Sakthi congratulated her sister and wanted to see Karthik immediately. While crossing the road, Sakthi met with an accident. In the meantime, at Karthik's office, they received a new project from the client. Karthik felt very happy and decided to convey this good news to Sakthi. Karthik went to the railway station to meet Sakthi through his bike. This is the scene I explained in this voiceover initially. Karthik went to the railway station, but Sakthi didn't come. Karthik searched for her in many places with the help of his friend, but he couldn't find Sakthi anywhere. Meanwhile, the lady who caused the accident told her husband about the situation. Her husband is an IAS officer, so he called the police and admitted that he caused the accident and was ready to face anything. He also asked them to find Sakti's relatives. Later, the police found Sakti's husband Karthik and brought him to the hospital. The doctor said that Sakthi was in critical condition and in a coma. Sakti's mother and Karthik arrived at the hospital. Karthik felt worried about Sakti's condition. He went to the ICU room and started to talk to Sakthi. Karthik begged her to wake up, adding that now he understood everything and he wouldn't fight with her anymore. He said he couldn't live without her and pleaded with her to wake up, and he cried a lot. Karthik said that following her at the beginning of his love life was not love. Now, after losing her, the way he searches for her everywhere, this is love. Karthik apologized to her for everything. Suddenly, Sakthi regained her consciousness. She looked at her family and saw Karthik. Sakthi shed tears and asked Karthik, "Are you planning to live happily if you lose your wife?" Karthik smiled and hugged her. Sakthi said that she loved him and they both smiled at each other. The movie concludes here. Hope everyone has enjoyed this voiceover. If you want me to give the voiceover for any movie, just put the movie name and year in the comment. Thanks for hanging out with us and watching this movie Alaipayuthey. Remember to like, share and subscribe to TamiFlix English Voiceover for more cool stuff. See you all.